Hello, what's happening, guys? So, today, Friday, the 15th of March, always check the calendar for that because I have made mistakes like that in the past. Look, Endless Celts Friday night podcast. We're going to have an enjoyable evening. I've not been on it, and it seems like ages. It's only been 2 weeks. I've been in like a self-imposed exile right now. I moved house 2 weeks ago, and just been clearing boxes and kind of just try to get sorted. It's been enjoyable. I've moved far away, far away, still in Scotland. But I'm really happy to be back on. I feel as if I've kind of missed out a lot and like Celtic and stuff like that. So you guys are going to support me tonight. We're going to talk about Celtic, all things and everything. Whatever topics we can think of. We'll have a wee quiz to throw in because what's a Friday night like without a quiz? But anyway, we've got Franny, we've got Stephen. Guys, not spoken to you in ages. How are we?
For me myself, like I'm fine and dandy, buddy. Had a great week in work. Had my oldest at judo tonight, and it's just smashing it. So proud as punch. Looking forward to getting into a good debate about Celtic and a good laugh as well. I'm on the beer, Franny's on the water, Gavin's on the wine. So going to be quite an interesting night here. So I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent. And out of curiosity, speaking of judo and martial arts, who would you say would win out a fight between Jean-Claude Van Damme and Steven Seagal in their prime?
Ooh.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I mean, Seagal's a mover though. Seagal can move. Like he's for his size, he can move. But I agree with you, Franny. I think Jean-Claude Van Damme's an animal. I think he would
Anybody
absolutely
that
rip my
drinks
heart out.
Coors Light is going to be a bit of a fucking rocket.
Are you saying I'm on rock short, buddy? Let's go.
No,
Are you
I
on
was
about Van
meaning
Damme?
Jean-Claude
Oh,
Van
right.
Damme. He does have adverts for Coors Light. It's the worst beer gone.
Who would drink them? Franny, how about you, mate?
I'm all good. So we're kind of just saying off air there. I feel like I've emigrated to McGinty's kitchen here because of my new lights. It's actually like an old retro light. And it's got like the old bulbs and like the old lamps in them, and it's just kind of making it look green. And my wall's actually grey.
Mm-hmm. Held hostage in McGinty's kitchen.
I would thought we'd dress for Paddy's Day. You know what I mean? Unlike a couple.
Wow. Do you know something? I'm getting grief already and for dressing in black. Look, I've been flat out all day and I've only really sat down. That's happened to me on Wednesday. Seeing I got back and done the double pivot, my head was gone. I couldn't even remember the topics or anything. So I've sat in the arse of the seat.
I do like Gavin's Batiste top, but that's really nice.
Oh, it's a belter, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Unbelievable.
Appreciate it. So obviously a number of topics we're going to be talking about. I wanted to kind of get your thoughts in general about Celtic because I kind of I was at the Livingston game at Parkhead, but prior to that, in terms of the league, I wanted to get your thoughts of mentality, optimism for right now, currently as a Celtic fan, because the last I left it was the Hunts had dropped points, and then we're going in against Hearts away, of course, but we just had to win that, and then we would go top, and we get beat, obviously. I was listening to the group chat. I've barely watched the highlights, and I heard a lot of chat in the group about the controversies with the penalty and the red card and things like that. So I'm not going to get into the Hearts game because I know that's old ground, but we failed to kind of get back to the top in the league. So I wanted to ask you, Franny, where are you right now with optimism for the rest of the season?
I would say as optimistic. I think sort of the green tinted glasses, the heart, call it what you like, in me, is saying that we will go on a run. I mean, it sounds simple. What is it? 9 league games, win them all. You actually win the league with a game in hand, really. Considering you would obviously beat Rangers twice in that run. So the Rodgers team first time round, you'd have said would have done that, no bother. I know. I mean. Somebody might correct me in the comments. I actually don't think he won 3 games in the bounce, so that's kind of a silly comment. But I think just that type of team, or even like a post-Coglis team, you could have rattled off 9 wins, no bother. It's the sort of inconsistency in the performances this season. That's where all the sort of doubt is in my head. Can we do it? Obviously, because there is an actual serious challenge there as well. I think anxiety and nerves and all that kind of come into it and things like that. Because in fair, although Postecoglou's first season there was a title challenge, But I think you felt early on, once we kind of taken the lead when we beat them at Parkhead, it felt like that gave the team belief to know that they were actually serious that year and could go on and win the league. And then Postecoglou's second season, they had tons of momentum, they had tons of belief and things like that. But I wear them more than out. I think it's been a funny old season. I do think the last few games, there has been an upturn in performance. I think there has been an upturn in performance in a few players. There's obviously the videos of Hatate back in training, Carter Vickers back in training. But then you've kind of, not to say he's on the same level, but obviously Palm was injured, Scales is injured. So it always just kind of feels this season's taken a couple steps forward and maybe 3 steps back. So my heart's still got to say we've got to win the league, Gavin, but you cannot discredit the challenge that Rangers are putting in right now.
Yeah. And as you say, with the injuries, like the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away, you know. Stephen, like I was saying about the Hearts performance, like I felt like I was totally insulated from all the hullabaloo, and I was kind of glad that I had so much distraction with the flitting, not to be occupied with that, because I could see the vitriol in the group chat. Again, not getting carried away with the Hearts performance. Don't want to get into it. The one thing I was worried about was I feared the controversies perhaps overshadowed the performance of the team and failing to get three points. Where are you right now? Are you more downhearted after that in terms of the league, or are you still retaining optimism as well as Franny is?
Well, of course, as a Celtic fan, you have to be optimistic and look forward to what could happen in the league and also the Scottish Cup. But it's the fragility of that defence that gives me the shivers, to be fair. It feels like every time a team, regardless if it's Livingston, regardless if it's someone in the top half of the table, every time they attack, we're vulnerable and it looks like we're going to concede. And it's a case of Celtic has to score four or five goals that for us to feel comfortable in the game. And it shouldn't be like that. The consistency side of things, yeah, we went on that brilliant run pre-Christmas into the Glasgow Derby game, and then after we found a wee bit of inconsistency, and that's the main issue for me. It's a mentality issue in my opinion. Is some of them players, the likes of Yang, Al Palma, Kuhn to a lesser extent, are all getting kind of bedded into this season and really haven't felt the pressure of a club like Celtic. And sometimes it can get the players, and you see performance levels dropping. I think the whole Scales thing, we've seen his vulnerabilities in the last couple of weeks, and look, that's not me pissing on his parade. He's been a good player in that, but he shouldn't be a first team starter. And we're getting into this last 9 game of the season, and like Franny says, like you have to look forward with optimism. Otherwise, what are you doing? So you have to think we're going to win the league and we're going to win the double. But Rangers have kept their end of the bargain. Do you know what I mean? That they've showed consistent levels, and Clement's come in, or Clementine's come in, and he's done a good job in turning that team around. And look, they're not playing fantastically well, but they're getting results. They're grinding them out, and they're finding ways to win. Yeah, that could be VAR decisions, or brother beating, or brother Column helping them out. But we all know the levels of refereeing in this country, so we can't always get bogged down in that. I thought the VAR thing after the Hearts game, it was true, and it was good to kind of call that out and Celtic put the statements out, but it did overshadow what was a subpar performance by Celtic. And I can't get past the argument that, or the debate that because we had 10 men against the Hearts side, that it was an impossible task to win or pick up a point. It shouldn't be like that. Hearts came to Parkhead.
Impossible task. It's putting into context.
But people, it's not really context. The Hearts came to Parkhead when we were at the Christmas party and done us over. So
yes, it's
one of these.
We were that day. I don't think
anybody was the pitch. My argument was we come onto the podcast.
We played against Hearts and got beat, and 10 against 11. You think we should beat Hearts?
But that shows our level, doesn't it? That shows our level. But that shows our level, doesn't it?
It doesn't stand up.
If you're saying to me, you're saying to me that 10 men really can't compete against a Hearts team, that's not the way it should be. You're making an excuse, Franny. You're making a blatant excuse that's the reason why we lost the game.
Gentlemen.
Against 11.
But it shows our level this season. It shows our level. And the fact is, there was a lot of excuse making. There was a lot of things in the VAR decisions, and they were poor. They were wrong, 100%. But Celtic didn't play well. And my point was on the Wednesday podcast, if that was a team last season, we would have, in my opinion, we would have pulled out a result. It felt like when we went to 10 men there against Hearts at Tynecastle, the whole arse fell out of it. And it was an easy thing to bounce on that the VAR decisions cost us. Yeah, did the cost us 11 men on the pitch? 100% it did. But there's still 10 men on the pitch that could do a job. There's still 10 footballers on the pitch that we get at a hard side, and any club in Scotland would be lucky to have.
10 men with 75 minutes of football is a lot.
We've done it before, Danny. But we've done it before.
Times? Tell me one game.
Okay, I can't count off the top of my head, but there was times when Postecoglou's here we lost men quite early on.
And we won the majority of the game. No after 15 minutes, but Livingston is one game I can think of.
Well, did we win?
Postecoglou's in 2 against Livingston.
But Livingston give us trouble in the weekend. So it just shows our levels, in my opinion. This is my argument. The consistency levels aren't there. And yes, I'm optimistic. And I look forward to the last 9 games of the season. But it feels like to me we're stepping into territory where we're making excuses for everything. This player's not fit. This player's not that. And it shouldn't be like that. And the levels, we didn't beat Hearts with 11 men. And we didn't beat them with 10 men. So that shows you where we're actually at. It feels like any pressure that gets put on the back four will crumble. That's my overall thought on it at the minute. But I'm optimistic, Gavin. In a long-winded way, I'm optimistic.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And it is quite interesting what you say about excuses. And that is an interesting segue, which we will move on to. However, I just want to point out we are just over 10 minutes in and I've lost total control of the podcast. I would like to implore that we get some parliamentary decorum in the podcast. And another thing I'd like to point out is I'm sorry for not bringing up the names of the commenters in the podcast. That's one of my main feelings. But we've got plenty in the house. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all enjoying your Friday night. Get your comments coming in. We'll try to bring up as much as we can. I know that Stephen is kind enough to do that duty. However, in terms of the excuses, Stephen, which you did kind of point on, Rogers, I was reading an article today in the BBC website, and he said that injuries. Love.
I'm doing that to you, Franny. Love and prosper.
Brendan Rodgers said that injuries have been the biggest frustration for Celtic this season. And it's certainly a factor, but I think it's one of a number of factors. And I wanted to get your thoughts, both of you, on this. What, in your opinion, has been the biggest contributing factor? So whenever I read that, I was thinking, do you agree with that statement that injuries have been the biggest frustration? Because in my opinion, and I could be missing out on some here, but I think there was a drop-off in quality in the playing squad. I think most people would agree on that. Another significant thing was a drop-off in the mentality of the playing squad as well, because you can lose quality, but sometimes you can still kind of harbour that experience. I think we've lost a core part of our mentality, and as rightly as what Stephen and Franny were debating about there, whenever you go down to 10 men, it's that mentality that kind of, if you've got that, you can use that to propel yourself, and we might have failed in that regard. So drop off in quality, a drop off in mentality. Rodgers unable to work his magic on the playing squad. We've had the debate: how many players has he improved since he came to be manager as a second time? Like, you could argue O'Reilly for a period, you can argue Scales for a period as well, but out of the entire playing squad, that's nowhere near enough. Another thing, which might be an uncomfortable truth, and people might shoot me down in the comments, but Rangers getting it right for their timing of sacking Beale and getting it right with Clement, who's actually, he turned a group of players who looked like a motley crew, and he's actually got them. I don't watch them play football. I just know that they pick up results, and that's why they're now at the top of the table. So I think that's a number of combinations. Franny, where are you on that? Do you still agree with Brendan? Are you sticking by the kind of the party line here that it is injuries, or do you think that's masking the truth?
I don't think it's the full reason, Gavin. It's part of the reason I think we are where we are this season. I don't think you can not look at our injuries and ignore them. Like, we've missed Carter Vickers for big chunks of the season. Potentially, we're going to lose McGregor now for a sustained period. There's all sorts of rumours going about that he's out for the season. He's maybe back after the international break. So we don't really know where we are with him. Obviously, Abada, we lost him for a big chunk of the season injured, and obviously the conflict. I know he's obviously moved on now. Hatate, we've not had him pretty much all season, I feel like. So that's key players from a team last season that were were flying. Obviously, you lose, whether you like him or not. I think the majority of Celtic fans, he frustrated them, but they knew he was a good defender in Starfelt. You lose him. You obviously lose Jota. You just can't turn that money down at the end of the day. And in fairness, Jota can't turn down, I think it was reported, just shy of 200 grand a week. He can't be turning that down. So there's big players we have lost. And then I agree with you. I think it's fair to say now, I don't think anybody really tries to properly deny it. The recruitment clearly hasn't been good enough. So I think injuries and the recruitment, I think, are a major factor. I think maybe a lot of these players that we signed in the summer were meant for Ange Postecoglou's style. I know Rodgers does like to play fast-flowing football, but is that kind of more possession-based behind that, whereas Postecoglou's always like kind of get the ball forward quick. I'm not saying Rodgers isn't that type of manager, but it does sometimes try to draw teams out with kind of playing the ball into spaces, get the team to come out and play it fast that way. So I think injuries have been a factor, but I think recruitment's a factor. We just haven't seemed to be playing good football for big periods of the season. As I said, hopefully there has been spells. I suppose we have what you can cling on to is going into Ibrox. Scales and Lagerbielke at centre half. We were apparently scraping results. Rodgers put the result at the hat. Again, going to the Parkhead game, Clement had came in and stuff, was on a great run. We started with Welsh and Scales again. We were kind of not written off, but we were, for some strange reason, again, not the favourites going into that game. Rodgers got a result, fair enough. It was the last maybe 10 minutes. Fun enough, when Rangers went into 10 men, we seemed to didn't really kind of to deal with that. But I think it's been a strange old season. I think, Gavin. I think I do agree with Rodgers. Injuries is a factor in it, but I think recruitment's a factor. And like you say, when you go to, you can drop quality. You look at Gordon Strachan's teams. I think if you said their teams out in paper, they're really like Stephen McManus, Gary Caldwell, Paul Telfer, Lee Naylor, Barry Robson, Paul Hartley, guys like that. They're not really what you would class as. I mean, they're also quality football players, but not really what you would exciting footballers. But by God, they got results. And I just think some of the players that we've brought in, they might not be the best in the business, but I think sometimes they're struggling to carry you through a game.
Aye. Well, that's a few good points that you make. Stephen, over to yourself on that, building on Franny's points. The one emphasis that I would like to kind of get your attention on is the drop-off, in my opinion, mentality. And the other thing, although Franny was kind of talking about the injuries, the other thing is Kyogo, who was our talisman last season, who scored quality goals against the Huns this season, he's nowhere near the same player. Now, whether you want to put that down to a lack of confidence, not taking his chances, or the fact that the playing style is perhaps not complementing them as it once was, that's even another reason, the playing style hampering perhaps one of our best players. So if you were to put your finger on one or two of the main reasons, where would you be kind of verging on?
Well, I'm with Maestro 95 here. Not good enough going by previous standards. Hate excuses. Stand up and get through this. 100%. And it's one of these things. But I do agree with what Franny said in terms of the players that we had under Gordon Strachan. They could drag you through a game. I don't think the players that we have currently from the current recruitment in the summer and January have that mindset or mentality to do that, which is what I was pointing to at the first part of the podcast. Sometimes it can be an issue where they haven't been used to this pressure and they feel it from the stands, they feel it from the coaching staff. And maybe they're crumbling mentally a bit, but look, that will come in time. In terms of the performance levels, with Kyogo especially, I think for me the style has changed. I think we're that more pedantic when we have the ball. We're slower in possession, and look, we know that from the first time. Rodgers likes to play that way. We're under Postecoglou. We were quick, we were dynamic, we were getting the wingers one-on-one, they were taking on their men, they were crossing in early for Kyogo, and he was feeding off that loose ball in the 6-yard box, where now he has to drop deep, get involved, and in my opinion, it looks good sometimes, but it doesn't suit him for his overall game. And it's pivotal for me that we find a way to get Kyogo into the game. I know Ida has come in and he's looked okay, which is fair enough, that the whole kind of debate around him. But I want Kyogo in. He's the guy I would rely on in that team to score the vital goals. And he's done it, like Franny said, against Rangers on numerous occasions. And it's just this season, it's not really worked out. Is he getting used to the way Rodgers is playing? Maybe. But it's taken a while and it's doing my head in, quite frankly. But the whole wider issue, the Rodgers thing, I remember we had the debate pre-Christmas about, or after Christmas, about Rodgers still being there. And I think Jed Thomas was very kind of on the get him out type of train, and that's fair enough. But I think we can look back at that and we can say that would it have been the right call? I think it's too late to let him go. It would have been too late after Christmas, in my opinion. Like you called it with Clement and Bill, they swapped for me at the right time, and he's come in and bedded his teeth into that squad, and he's turned them around. And look, we can't ignore that fact. We've crumbled in a way. We've lost 9 points, and we find ourselves 2 points behind, and that's not good enough. It's not good enough for any Celtic manager. It's not good enough for any Celtic team. We were in the ascendancy, and we've let that go. The whole injury thing is another excuse, in my opinion, and it's a bugbear of mine. Anthony Dunn, who was in the comments, is saying if you lose your top centre half, you lose your top goal scorer and your top midfield player, it's going to affect any team. Yeah, I get that, but our replacements who come in should be better than the rest of the SPFL. The standards should still be high enough to get through these teams. Because, in my opinion, a Hearts would love a Bernardo. Do you know what I mean? A Hibs would love a Bernardo in their midfield. So these players should be good enough to see you through the game. The injury side of things has been bad. Obviously, we've lost Vickers for a huge proportion of the season. But then we're saying Scales has been brilliant. He's kind of covered that fact. And Larga Bielka, I mean, the whole fucking, I don't know what's going on. He's a ghost. But it is an issue, Gavin, but it's an excuse, in my opinion. It's a big excuse. It's something to wrap the season up and be like, this is why this has happened, and it's not good enough, in my opinion.
Can I ask you something? Take Haaland out of Man City, Rodri out of Man City, and we'll go with Diaz for a period of time. Do you think they struggle for a wee bit? Because, I mean, you take Rodri to that team, and they struggled for a few weeks.
Standard EPL's higher than the SPFL, Franny, so it's not a comparison.
No, it is, because you're saying you lose 3 players. Because if they probably brought in Alvarez, who's a World Cup winner. They probably, I don't know who the midfielder is, they probably brought in somebody like Bernardo Silva, who would walk into every other team in the EPL. Alvarez would probably walk into nearly every team in the EPL, and the defender they brought in would probably walk into the EPL. But you take the 3 players out of a Man City team, and that Man City team struggle.
Yeah, they would struggle, but what I'm saying is, look, our replacement players, right? And I know what you're saying. I'm coming to that. I know what you're saying. I know what you're trying to get at. And I'm going to try and cover it. So the way I'm looking at this is, right, you take a Kyogo out, you take the Vickers out, you take Alistair Johnson out for a period, right? The replacement players that we should bring in should be of a sufficient enough level to see us through Livingston, to see us through Kilmarnock, to see us through St Johnstone. The fact is, we've dropped points against teams that are nowhere near the level of our team, or backup players in Man City.
And the only one missing Rodri.
Yeah, but Franny, I don't give a fuck about the EPL. I'm talking about the Scottish League.
I'm giving you context. Like injuries do have an impact on a team.
Of course, they have an impact, but it's an excuse that we keep going back to and go back to and go back to. In my opinion, it's like people fail to understand this. We let a significant gap go in the league, and we're 2 points behind. Are you trying to say that's all injuries? Are you trying to say it's all injuries? It's poor performances. It's letting points go.
It could be down to injuries.
Yes, it's a factor, Franny. But we can't keep saying it all the time. We can't keep saying it all the time. That's my opinion.
It's a factor.
Of course it's a factor. It is a factor. But my approach to this would be a backup player at Celtic is good enough to get in the rest of the Scottish League. And look, I know what you're saying about the City thing, but Jesus Christ. I mean, United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Hearts, Hibs, St Johnstone, Dundee are not comparable to us in any state, way or form, in my opinion. So that's where I don't get that comparison.
I just think you take 3 top players out of any team in world football, they will struggle a wee bit. That's all I'm saying.
I think both of you are right. With the comparison that Stephen makes for Man City with the EPL standards, that's totally different from Celtic. Well, we should be able to suffer those injuries better, soak that up, that loss, compared to other leagues where it's so much more tight. Can I say one thing, because I'll probably forget it if I don't bring it up right now. Somebody brought up a comment, and it was about Ange wouldn't put up with this. Who said it? Ange wouldn't put up with this. Sorry, guys.
No, you're all right. You're all right. Me and Stephen could just start arguing again if you want.
You guys are
I like it.
there's a lot of tension. There's a lot of tension between you guys. Fuck. Who put up with it?
No tension.
Come on, who said it?
Oh,
basically, somebody said Ange wouldn't put up with this. It was too much passing back. Ange wouldn't put up with this. And again, that kind of harks back to my mentality point. Remember when Brendan Rodgers became the manager? After we know the approach that Ange had with the players, very, very standoffish. He was like the guy that you'd hate to be sitting next to on a coach or a plane because it would just be awkward as fuck. He wouldn't talk to you. Whereas Brendan Rodgers is the total opposite. I think Matt O'Reilly made the comment that in the cafeteria, Rodgers would be sitting down and talking to the players, you know, and it'd be much more kind of friendly. Do you think with the mentality of our kind of playing squad right now, that Rodgers' friendly approach has maybe not worked as well as what Ange's approach would have on this current crop?
Potentially, because I think Postecoglou always said that he signed players based on talent, but he liked to sign I've got to use a word that Brendan Rodgers uses, the character, the person. So maybe he signed guys on knowing what they were like and how he could be around them. And Rodgers, like says, a total different manager. And I think in the modern day, that's why I think a Martin O'Neill would maybe struggle these days, maybe. Because I think his management style maybe just wouldn't work these days.
Like, Franny, sorry for interjecting. The fear factor, is there a fear factor with the players and Rodgers? Is there still that fear factor? Because Rodgers read them the Riot Act like a few months back at halftime against, what was it, St Johnstone at halftime. We came back, we won the game, but there's really been no kick on since then. And I don't get how Rodgers is unable to instill that mentality within this group. And I wonder maybe Ange's approach. Sometimes a player likes an arm around the shoulder, and sometimes a player needs an absolute shuriken in order to kind of propel himself. And I'm just wondering if the relationship between Rodgers and the players is not as good as what it was under Ange.
It could be a fair argument what you're making there, Gam, because like we said, it was Postecoglou did seem to like to sign the person as well and things like that. So that may be why he knew he could sort of be that standoff character like he is. And like we've said, Rodgers a wee bit different. He's maybe more a man manager, like tries to be your pal within reason, obviously, and be friendly and things like that. But maybe the players just aren't taken to it, which I would find strange, and I would hate to think that players aren't willing to adapt to different managers. You can't be. I know, sort of, it seems to be a player's sort of a shelf life, I feel like, at a team is maybe 2 to 3 years, and managers predominantly are that as well. But surely players cannot be that sort of a one-dimensional, can only work under one manager. I appreciate you will get certain players that can only work on it, but players have got to adapt. Managers have got to adapt. Players have got to adapt to different surroundings, different sort of voices and managers. So I think there maybe is an element to what you're saying, Gavin, but I would expect players to be of the understanding that in my career, I cannot expect to just be managed by a certain type of manager. I have got to be flexible.
Fair enough. Right, okay, we've probably done it to death in terms of the autopsy of why things are not going right so far this season.
Ding, 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 ding.
Going to take a little time out and do something which might fall flat on its face. We were going to try and do, or I was going to try and do, a kind of mastermind thing. Now, tonight probably won't go very well. I've only got 8 questions. I've been chasing my tail today. I only get 8 questions. Now, I asked Franny what his mastermind subject would be, and I asked Stephen what his subject would be. Franny, you said Italia 90. Not
that's
the
word. Flat in our face,
Serie A, Italian football in the 90s. You also said Petrov Larson, and Lambert, which, far too many. You need to kind of narrow it down. Stephen asked you what your mastermind subject would be, and you said Celtic in this century, which is a very, 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 very broad topic. That's covering 24 years. Like, I could have really, really made it difficult for you, Stephen. So, because I've not been as prepared as what I would have wanted, I've given Stephen a bye. Franny, I've got a half-arsed mastermind
Oh,
quiz.
Jesus.
I've only got 8 questions, 5 of which are about Italian football in the 90s, and I've got 3 which are Celtic related. Apologise in advance, okay? Now, the Italian ones are actually quite difficult, and it's your own fault. It's your own fault, really, okay? So, question 1. Which 2 clubs did Roberto Mancini play for in Serie A in the 90s? Now, just because we're talking about Italy, I've got an Italian wine here. It's called Pilastro. Yes.
Do a wee sniff. Do a wee swirl. Wee swirl.
Where's it made about? See if it gives me a clue in this Mancini one.
I know that answer, Will. What the fuck?
I'm sure Lazio's one. Better Mancini.
Yes, I'll give you that. Lazio's one. What's the other one? Franny's thinking.
Sampdoria.
Yes. Well done, mate. Well done. Stephen's got it. Right. Now, number 2, again, this is not really kind of point scoring as such because it's difficult. But number 2 is 8 players finished a season as the top goal scorer in Serie A in the 90s. How many of those 8 players can you name?
George
Get on your fucking Google. Come on, you Franny.
I'm actually going to turn the comments off. That's what I'm doing. George Weah.
George Weah is not one, no.
What? A Ballon d'Or winner is no one.
Well,
that's just threw me right off. Roberto Baggio.
No.
Oh, it's a great start. Absolute great start.
What was the question, Gavin?
8 players finished a season as the top scorer in the Serie A in the 90s. Can you name them?
In one season? Or is it just like 8 players throughout? Hernan Crespo?
No.
Oh, I'm having a shocker.
Wow.
You did so well.
Ronaldo?
No, Ronaldo. See, in Ronaldo's best season, he only came second as a top scorer.
Oh, right.
Tough competition, no.
Marcelo Salas?
No.
Oh my God, I've surely got to guess one right.
Paddy?
Thought it was too early.
Paddy?
Sorry.
What? Paddy?
What you said, Paddy? I'm like, Paddy didn't play him.
Inzaghi?
Sean.
Yeah. Okay. I'm like Stephen is going to help you. Inzaghi. We'll get Inzaghi.
Jean-Pierre Papin?
No.
Oh my God.
Mastermind.
I feel like Darren Bent here. He done that Mastermind one and got one right or something.
Right, so Stephen has helped you out, the guy who doesn't specialise in Italian football.
I know. Where's John? Shevchenko?
No.
Oh, Jesus. I give up with this one. Like,
Gavin, Monty comes in. Let me see how many he's got right here. Fiali, Ravanelli, Van Basten, Papin, Shevchenko, Crespo, and Trezeguet.
3 of them are wrong.
Yeah, Viali is right. Van Basten is right.
How did I forget about Bartas? Did I?
But that's them. Just Viali and Van Basten. The rest.
There wasn't even one.
What about a German? A German.
Oh, Oliver Bierhoff.
Yes. Okay, so we've got Inzaghi.
They'll probably get them.
We've got Inzaghi, Battistuta, Viali, Signori. One guy who I don't know, Igor Proti, Marcio Amoroso, Van Basten.
The Brazilian boy.
Right, okay, Franny. Yeah, you've got You've got a few more questions. Which African striker? Question 3. Which African striker joined AC Milan from PSG in 1995?
George Weah. George Weah.
Well done. Well done. Right, building the confidence. Building the confidence. Question 4. Can you name the 4 teams? Only the 4 teams who won the Serie A in the 90s.
Juve. AC Milan.
And now it gets difficult.
Roma.
Not in the 90s.
They were just after it then.
They were just after it. I think they might have been 2002.
Aye. I don't know if Inter Milan's just too obvious. Inter Milan.
No, they never won it. Not even under Ronaldo. They get cheated.
No.
They get cheated in the last game by the match officials.
Would Lazio be one? Because they went on a wee spell of just spending money.
No, I think Lazio won it the year before Roma. I think Lazio won it in 2001. Or 2000, but not in the 90s.
AC Milan. I think he should have actually won it then. Jesus, peeps.
Right, I'm going to have to do that.
Aye.
Have to say, Granda's on fire with the comments tonight. It's a bit of snakes and ladders.
Right, okay. The other 2 teams are Napoli in 1990 and Sampdoria.
What have been with bloody...
How many's he got right, Gavin, out of the 4? 2?
Yeah, aye, yeah.
But I've got some answers right.
Aye.
And the
he's got 2 out of 4.
Sorry, Napoli and who was it, Gavin?
Napoli and Sampdoria. By the way, Sampdoria had a brilliant front 2 of Mancini and Vialli when Vialli had hair. Brilliant combo. Right, okay, and question 5, which is the last of the Italian football questions, you'll be pleased to hear. Which Italian teams in the 90s won the European Cup or the Champions League?
AC Milan. Surely. AC Milan. Juve?
Aye. So Milan won it in 1990. Milan won it again in 1994. And Juve won it in 1997.
6. Old Trafford won it.
Right, okay. 3 more questions just to regain some credibility, Franny. Question 6. Which teams did Paul Lambert play for? Because you said that this is one of your mastermind topics. Paul
Lambert. So, Motherwell, Borussia Dortmund.
He's missed a team already.
I know, because it would have been before Motherwell.
Oh, No.
Borussia Dortmund, Celtic.
We want to watch him fail.
So who would have been up before Motherwell?
Okay, so
Ayr United.
Oh, Jesus. Right, so Motherwell, Dortmund. Who else has he played for? Ayr United?
Celtic.
You've got that right. Right. Who did he play? Who did he play before Motherwell?
I can't think, mate.
Okay. And after Celtic, what do you think? Chinky retired or?
No, I'm sure he actually went to somebody else. I feel like it was done in England, but I've actually no idea. I wanted to say Aston Villa for some random reason, but it was a manager there, wasn't it?
Yeah. See, the term mastermind, it's like your strong topic, you know, it's I am an expert in this field.
Aye, see if you watch Darren Bent on Mastermind, that is me.
There's the excuses coming in. Injuries.
Darren Bent, no, I've actually done better than him. He got 1 out of 10 or something.
Right, so we've got St Mirren. That's the team before Motherwell.
Right.
And the team after Celtic was Livingston. Master of no mind. Wow. I like it. Man.
She's no rang.
Right. Question 7. Petrov, that's another one of your experts. Did Petrov play more or less than 100 times for Bulgaria?
Oh, I'm going to say more because we signed him dead young and he was an international, so I'm going to go more.
Yeah. Apparently, according to Wikipedia, he got 105 caps. So because it's Wikipedia, you know that's not right. But I'm sure it's more than 100. So you've got that. And last question, we've only got 8 questions for you tonight. Which team did Celtic buy Petrov from?
Put 2 guys for them as well.
I think we actually sold someone to that team as well, or perhaps eventually went there. Quiz was made by Franny's.
Kinky Bulgarian teams, man. It's so obvious to me. It's like right there, but I just can't get it out. It's like probably the first team you would actually go to when you think of a Bulgarian team. And I just cannot think it, Gavin. I'm going to have to. I'll be here all night.
Okay, we've got.
What comment did you just bring up there, Stephen?
Alistair Jack.
Aye.
Alistair Jack is correct. CSKA Sofia. Right, okay. Franny, thank you for participating.
Thanks for making an ass of me, Gavin.
No, mate, you're just we can refine this as a podcast and we can actually get people to say their nominated mastermind questions and we can develop it more. We can get proper questions for one topic alone. And we'll see who the experts are and who the frauds are. But you're just being the guinea pig for this. It was unfair to pick on you, but thank you for putting your head above the parapet. So well done to you, Franny. Thank you for that. Wasn't that great though? Right. Okay.
No, it wasn't. We'll be honest here.
Right. So we're moving on to Celtic and St Johnstone at the weekend, and we've got Callum McGregor out, we've got Scales out, we've got Narovsky out, Palmer out, but we've got Cameron Carter-Vickers in. It's funny in a padded cell.
I won't be for this.
Stephen, how are you feeling about St Johnstone at the weekend, and what is your lineup?
Oh, straight in, no sauce. I mean, Craig Levine, again, one of their managers who's been around the block, famous for the 4-6-0 formation that he played, was against Czech Republic with Scotland. Mental. But I know St Johnstone, they signed a couple of big strikers. There was a fellow that had a kind of promising youth career at Arsenal. He went to, I think it was Sunderland and lower leagues in England. I think he's still only 23 and they've brought him in. He scored a few goals since he joined them. Again, a physical presence up top is anything to put the shitters up in when it comes to our defence. But it's one of these ones for me. Like, we all thought Livingston would be comfortable. I don't want to say it again because it seems like a poison chalice when you mention comfortable in Celtic at the minute. But I'm looking forward to watching the Celtic tomorrow. My lineup would be Joe Hart, Alistair Johnson, Carter Vickers. Is Carter Vickers back? I thought Roger said he was back. Aye. Carter Vickers, Larga Bielka, Greg Taylor. In the middle, I would go O'Reilly, Owada, and McGregor. Up top, Kuhn, Kyogo, and Maeda. McGregor? Shit, McGregor's out. Bernardo in for McGregor then. that was my lineup would be.
Sorry, what was it? Who was your front three?
So it was Kuhn, Kyogo, and Maeda.
Kuhn, Kyogo, and Maeda. Can I ask you about one thing in the group chat? So, obviously, Jimmy Forrest.
It's not the pictures, is it?
No. I've got the adult filter to block that one out. But Forrest came on and he looked really experienced. And Rogers was talking about, you guys might have actually spoken about this on Wednesday. So forgive me if I'm going over old ground. And Rogers spoke about how Forrest is our best winger. And I kind of get what he means by that. It doesn't really mean it, but I get where he's coming from in that I think he makes the right decisions. Even without pace anymore, he's still able to kind of fashion half a yard to whip a ball in, which our players, for all their skill and pace compared to Forrest, they seem to kind of fail at that. And I think Forrest makes the right decisions. And it's just it's a shame that, like Yang, for example, Yang has got a lot of ability, but he makes the wrong decisions. And that's kind of, Forrest made those same mistakes at that time in his career as well. But in the group chat, someone made the point that they would play Forrest until the end of the season. And I thought that on that particular game against Livingston at Parkhead, I thought Kuhn came on to a very interesting game. Now, albeit he set the bar low for his time so far at Celtic, where he looked like a fish out of water, and we were wondering, have we signed another dud? I thought Kuhn looked like he was playing with confidence. So I wanted to get your thoughts on Kuhn and Jimmy Forrest. Does Forrest have a part to play in this?
Of course he has. Of course he has the part to play, but he's not going to start it. Let's be fair here. I think Kuhn should take confidence from the game against Livingston. It was his best game in the Celtic shirt, and the whole weight issue with him, it looks resolved now. It looks like he's got that yard of pace again. He was confident. He was taking his man on, and I thought he gave him a terrible time. Forrest come into the game, made the impact, no doubt about it. The whole team picked up in terms of the energy and the drive and the passion, but that was because we were dead on our feet. We needed that spark, and I think Kuhn was feeling cramped, so it was a good substitution to make. That again, the best winger at the club. For quality, he may well be, that's fair enough, but I think Rodgers did say and counter it by going the intensity of games now really limit to what Forrest can do in terms of starting games, which is fair enough. But yeah, it's Steve Murdoch come in there saying the words about our best winger depress me. I mean, I'm thinking about this. What if you're Yang? What if you're Palma? What if you're all these guys and you're hearing this? Do you know what I mean? It's like he needs to pick and choose his words carefully, in my opinion. I know he's trying to pay tribute to James and he's been a fantastic servant, but as a lip service, he done the same with Johnson, saying he was the best youth product, and he shipped off to West Brom. So I don't know what he's playing at times with the things he says in the press. But no, I would keep Kuhn in. I would try and keep his confidence levels going. I would see what he can do. His assist for Maeda, by the way, was world class. No one talks about that enough. The wee lofted ball over the defence, and Maeda actually took his time and controlled it and put it in the back of the net, which was quite surprising. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Kuhn could do. I was one of the guys that ripped Kuhn off really early on. I don't mind admitting that, but if he proves me wrong, I'll be buzzing. I think Yang's come in and he's made an impact as well. He's very kind of one-on-one orientated, doing skills and trying to get to the byline. So they're the two wingers I'm excited about to see what more they can produce in the upcoming 9 games.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, Franny, on to yourself. Thoughts about the game tomorrow? St Johnstone, they're 9th right now in the table. In the last 5 games, they've had 3 losses, 1 win and 1 draw. They're sitting on 28 points. So over the course of the season, they've done pretty shite. However, Celtic have struggled against St Johnstone. We've dropped points against them at Parkhead, which is I think that might have been the first team that we dropped points against at Parkhead anyway. What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts in the lineup?
Obviously, I'm of the belief that some recent performances have been a lot better. So if we are really, I appreciate we say we are turning a corner, and you would hope so at this stage of the season that you're turning a corner. And if there ever is a time to start getting on a run and building momentum, this sort of remainder of the season would be it. I mean, to kind of go back to the EPL, Manchester United, the old, as soon as they turn the year, they motored on. They done enough to stay in a title chance, and after the year, motored on. Man City's just turned into that machine as well. So hopefully Celtic can kind of just do that for this final part of the season. And a team like St Johnstone, on paper, is the perfect game in a sense. A team like St Johnstone at Celtic Park, who, like you've just said, Gavin, haven't been on a great run. They're sitting 9th. For me, they've got a manager who shouldn't have had another job in the game after he played no striker in a game of football. He shouldn't. For me, that just showed you where he was as a manager. So, as I say, on paper, it should be an easy afternoon for Celtic. It should help build that momentum, build some players' confidence. So, I am excited going to. I'm expecting a fairly hassle-free win. I would go 3-0. I would like plenty of goals, obviously, to help with confidence. I mean, obviously, I would take a scrappy 1-0 win because at the end of the day, points, I think at this stage, points are king. But I think you want a performance because if we are really trying to keep sort of some momentum, keep some belief in the fan base that we're going to win this league, I think you need to be turning in performances along with getting the results. Especially, there will be some scrappy games away from home where you'll maybe just scrape a 1-0 or an odd goal winning things. But I think your home games, especially against teams like St Johnstone, should be fairly hassle-free, Gavin, for me.
You know, one kind of common complaint that I've got and I say it to the people around me at Parkhead when I'm at the games. One thing that I feel I've been lacking, I've not witnessed this enough watching the games, is just entertainment. See, like, results aside, but just see the football in the park and like getting off your seat and saying that particular moment, that bit of skill, that shot, that assist. It's been few and far between, and that's from just an entertainment spectacle. I think there's been a daft in quality with that. It's been really, really disappointing. Guys, and on this day, now I don't really have much knowledge about this particular player, but on the 15th of March 1976, Celtic signed a winger in the name of Johnny Doyle from Ayr United for a fee of £90,000. Now, I never watched Johnny Doyle play. I know that he suffered a tragic premature death at the age of 30, but he was a player who I've seen videos of. He played with the likes of Tommy Burns, that kind of era, and he was a bit of a hothead, but he was one of those players who loved playing for Celtic. I read Tommy Burns' autobiography, and he spoke about Johnny Doyle as a person, as a friend, as a teammate, and he said that he had a lot of demons in his life, but whenever he played for Celtic, he just epitomised what it'd be like for a fan to wear the hoops. And Johnny Doyle was he was born in 1951. He died in 1981. Born in Bells Hill. He was a winger. He only had, I think, one international cap for Scotland, but he was one of those cult heroes for Celtic. Now, I'm just reading from the internet here. I can't actually tell it from my own experiences, but from one of the quotes, it's Johnny Doyle was the epitome of the phrase "a true Celt." And I'll just see if I've got another quote. I think he got a lot of sendings off, but he played for Celtic between 1976. We signed him in 1975, but he played for us between 1976 and 1981, and he was just a cult hero, from what I understand. I know that some of the people in the comments will be able to actually talk about their own first-hand experiences. Paul McFarlane, on this day, Gavin masterminded and fried Danny Franny's brain. Yeah. Johnny Doyle wouldn't be my mastermind, but there was one quote here. Still remember a night at Love Street in 1980, I think. It was a Scottish Cup replay, and Celtic were 2-0 down and had Tom McAdam sent off. Things were looking grim until Doyle single-handedly pulled Celtic back into the game. He tore St Mirren apart and was untouchable that night. Celtic won 3-2 after extra time. And I think, but I'm not 100% sure, Doyle scored the winner. A truly outstanding performance. I still laugh at him for getting sent off at Ayr for knocking the referee out. Probably sums up his career as a Celtic player. Scoring a winner, but knocking a referee out. But he sounds like a throwback, a cult hero. But anyway, we shall move on. Now, gents, I do actually have another little quiz lined up. I don't know if it's premature, but I think we'll just go for it. Now, I know that tonight's been quite sporadic. There's no rhyme nor reason to the topics I'm throwing up here. Now,
Friday.
I'm going to just level with you now. See, in terms of game shows on TV, I can't stand game shows, okay? However, there is one particular game show, and I'm sure I've watched it, but I don't know the name of the game show. And it's like two people competing against each other, and the quizmaster says that they're going to ask you a question, and it's how many names can you get? And so Steve will say, I'm confident I can name 5 of these guys. And Franny was like, no, I'm confident I can name 6 of these guys. However, if Franny can't name all 6, then
Stephen gets the point.
Exactly. Okay. So you need to be confident how many you can name. If anybody knows the game show that I'm kind of alluding to here, then by all means, put me out my misery.
But I know exactly what you're talking about. I just can't remember what it's called either.
So
I understand the game. I totally understand the game.
The premise is there is a fixed number of answers. You don't need to get all the answers. However, you just need to be confident that you can name how many you say that
it's
you
almost
can
like top trumps in a way, innit? It's I'll say I can name. I can say I can name X, and Stephen will say maybe he can name more, then I'll maybe go, oh, well, I can name more. And it's all about going, well, no, I'll go for it then.
Now, I've only got 4 questions here, okay? Because I think it's quite chunky answers.
Aye.
So I've only kept it to 4. Now, there's 3
Right,
which are
comments
about,
off, Stephen.
3
Comments
which are-
off. Okay,
Aye.
done.
This is Franny's chance to get credit
Redeem myself.
after the Italian disaster.
Aye.
Right, so we've got 3 kind of historical questions about Celtic and 1 kind of fairly this century anyway, which we know is right up Stephen Street this century. Celtic. So we'll start off which maybe right, okay. How many of the Lisbon Lions 11 can you name? So Stephen, you tell me how many confidently you can name. Franny, you tell me how many you can confidently name. The Lisbon Lions 11, and please be honest, gents, don't look at the comments.
And my comments are off.
Thank you.
Ah, fuck.
I love the pain.
Hey, Franny, eyes up, big chief. You're looking on Google and that. Come on.
Mate, I'm not on Google on my phone, like my laptop and that. I wouldn't ken how to do that. Does that not like cut your camera off anyway?
No.
He's playing dumb here. Playing dumb.
He's got his phone down there
text
and his laptop.
Text
Fuck
no
me.
more.
Right, who wants to go first to name?
I thought I was waiting on Stephen. I'll go 5 then, Stephen.
I'll go 6.
7.
Right, okay. Right. Right. We're setting the bar low here. 5 and 6. Christ almighty. Okay.
No, I've went 7, Stephen. So
No, you pick 5 first, mate. You can't do that.
No, that's what you keep doing. That's the whole point of the game.
You can up it.
You can keep going up.
If Franny can't get his full 7, then you get the point, Stephen. So we've got Franny at 7. Stephen, are you sticking with your 6?
Go higher or tell me to name 7.
I love that.
Got them written on this bottle. The back side there. That's on there.
You take it, Franny.
Right, Franny.
7. I've only named 7.
On 7. Okay, so just don't be too quick. Let me just. Okay, go for it.
Simpson and goals.
Pardon me?
Simpson and goals.
Yes.
Goals. Craig.
Yes.
Lennox, Wallace.
He's looking down on his phone. What is going on here? Mate, your eyes keep going down. I can see them. Oh,
Franny,
go ahead.
Franny, you need to maintain eye contact with Stephen because this tension is unbearable here.
Oh, by the way, if I can maintain eye contact with him, the tension will be unbearable. Johnson.
Right, okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4.
Johnson.
Yes.
Very old.
Yes.
Is that a 6 in it?
5.
That's no.
Nah, you've got 6.
Oh, I've just had a mind blank. Oh, because I was actually saying the starting lineup. Oh, Gemmell, he's a goal scorer.
Yeah. You've got your 7. You've got your 7.
No way I'm taking. No way, but okay.
I've went all red.
You've gone red because you're talking shit. That's what you're talking. Go ahead, Gavin.
I need an electricity to fix this light, I think.
Stephen, you can choose the next question I'm going to do. The one for this century or the historical one?
Stick with historical one. Go ahead.
Okay. Right. How many of Celtic's top 10 goal scorers of all time can you name?
I'll go 7.
Go for it.
Right, Franny,
Go for it.
what's your?
Stephen can name me 7.
You're going on under 7 then, yeah?
Aye.
So you're not willing to go higher.
No.
Right, that's a tall order, Stephen. So you're confident you can name 7 of Celtic's top 10 goal scorers of all time?
No. I just wanted to jump in. Griffiths.
A great start.
No.
This has got to go well.
Right.
I don't know. I'm joking. Right. Henrik Larsson.
Right, okay. I'm going to assume that was a joke. Right,
Yeah.
okay. Henrik
Larsson.
Yes.
Jimmy McGrory.
Oh, come on.
Yes.
Look at me.
Yeah, I think you could have went for 5. I don't think Franny would have topped that. Sorry, Franny, I'm doing you a disservice.
I don't actually think I would have.
Fuck. I'm struggling, boys. Shit.
You said 7. I was like, no chance.
Jesus Christ.
Fuck up, Calvin. I'm trying. The mind's gone blank. This is tougher than it looks. Fuck.
It is a tough one. I'll agree with you. It's a tough one.
What have we got? 2 out of the 7? This is mental, by the way. Jimmy Johnson.
No, I'm afraid not, mate.
Chris Sutton.
Wow.
We've got
Griffiths got more than him.
McGrory, Bobby Lennox, Larson,
Fuck.
Jimmy Quinn, Stevie Chalmers, Sandy McMahon, Patsy Gallagher, John Hughes, Jimmy McMenemy, and Kenny Dalglish.
Oh, Stephen. Stephen.
Right. Okay.
That's horrendous, isn't it?
We'll do the this century one. How many of the Celtic 11 versus Porto can you name?
Fuck. All of them.
You can name 11. Stephen, you don't need to let.
When you go then, Stephen.
I'll keep thinking. Franny, you go.
No,
Franny, you go.
You said 11. Go for it.
Right, okay. Right.
Stephen, are you sure about this? I want to protect you against yourself, man.
Right. Hold on. Right.
You need this.
Rob Douglas.
Who?
Rob Douglas. Okay.
Yeah, and that's
He just called Douglas.
Douglas, man. I don't know Douglas, that's right. Bobo Baldi.
Yes.
Johan Mialbi.
Can I just stop you? Franny, you think he's going to do it?
No.
Okay. Right, we've got Douglas, Mialbi, Baldi.
Come back to that one. Hold on, right. Didier Agat.
Yes,
Lambert Lennon.
Lambert. Yes, and Lennon, yes.
Petrov.
Mm-hmm.
Thompson.
Yeah. Oh, he's getting there.
Getting close, like.
Larson.
I can't believe he wasn't in the first. Lads has got the 2 goals in the final.
I'm trying to do the lineup as like you see it.
Mm-hmm.
Sutton.
So is that 9?
Yeah, right, okay. You're missing one, okay. So Stephen, I'm going to kind of help you a little bit. You're missing a defender. You've got Mialbi, you've got Baldi. Who was the other centre back?
Oh,
see, this is where I'm stuck because
Gavin, come on, you've
it's either between Ulrik Larsson or Josval Heron.
Right, Stephen, you said that you could get 11, and
You are taking the piss out of me here, aren't you?
Who the fuck is that guy?
Fuck's sake!
Stephen, what does your gut tell you? Ulrik Larsson?
My gut tells me him, but then that's...
Okay.
And then again, is it... Ah, fuck. Jackie didn't. Jackie play?
Jackie McNamara, Stephen. Oh. You've not said Hartson either, by the way.
He was out injured.
Oh, well done.
Fuck.
Everybody's watching.
Stephen Onshaw.
Tell me, Gavin, tell me this, right? Is it between the two I'm saying?
Oh, come on, just may as well give him the initials at this stage then.
No, he would get that, Franny. That's too easy.
I'm going to go Eric Larson.
Huh?
Is that your final answer?
My final answer.
I actually
Okay.
can't remember, I'll be honest. Stephen. I can't remember if it was
Aw.
him or Bill Harron. Lawson definitely played in that game at some point.
You're wrong, mate.
Are you serious right now?
Oh my day.
You might
Oh,
be.
Harry.
That's fucking.
Oh, Harry.
Lawson came on
The
back then,
reason.
eh? Lawson definitely played a part in that game. That's how I was with you, Stephen. I would have went Bill Harron, but Lawson definitely, I'm sure, came on.
I'm fucking gutted about that. Oh well.
That's free nothing to me, Stephen.
Right. A bit of fair play here. Well, you don't need to, Franny, but all or nothing. Next question wins it.
All right then.
Right. That's fair play. Right. Okay. Stephen, you didn't have to go for all 11. Okay. So the last question. How many of the 19 Celtic managers can you name? No caretakers. How many of the 19 Celtic managers can you name?
5. To start with.
I mean, you're devious, mate. You
know.
know him too well, don't you?
6.
7.
I hate this cunt. I swear to fuck. 8.
10.
11.
12.
I feel like we're at the casino right now. And both of you like should be wearing like sunglasses, you know.
Go ahead, Franny, take it.
12.
Franny, are you 12?
Aye. Jockstein.
Okay, right. Jockstein. Let me verify that one on Twitter.
Right.
Yes, you're right. Jockstein, yes.
Jockstein. Billy McNeil.
Oh, by the way, you can't double the same name like Neil Lennon, for example.
Nah, right. Oh, Neil Lennon and then Brendan Rodgers twice. We'll go with Neil Lennon and Brendan Rodgers then.
Yep.
Lou McCarry.
Oh, he's getting the difficult ones out the way here. Lou McCarry, okay.
Tony Mowbray. Postecoglou.
Stephen, we stop us there. Think is going to get to 12.
No.
Momentum here.
Right, Franny. This is
Postecoglou.
all or nothing. You need to get this.
Postecoglou. Martin O'Neill. Wim Jansen. Willie Mealy.
How many is he on?
11.
1, 2, 3.
I'm fucking Celtic
10.
manager. Come on.
10.
You're on 10.
I thought I had 11 there. What's the ones I've said?
Willie Mealy, Jockstein, Billy McNeil, Lou McCarry, Wim Jansen, Martin O'Neill, Tony Mowbray, Neil Lennon, Brendan Rodgers, Postecoglou.
Oh, out 2. Who was before Wim Jansen? Oh, this is terrible.
It must be really easy for people who are not.
John Barnes.
John Barnes.
Oh,
You're one away from winning this competition, Franny. But can you do it? Do you have the mental fortitude?
That's a bit of countdown. Gavin, put a countdown on here. Come on, Chief.
Should we put a countdown on? Oh, the fucking Celtic manager.
Franny, we want a conclusion to this. We want a conclusion.
A Celtic manager. Somebody tell me a Celtic manager.
Paddy Guinness.
Oh, Celtic manager. Fuck me.
How long does he get? Like, how long does he physically get?
How long did you get, but? How long did you get for your role at Larson? Ah,
Here, listen.
His laddie's here. Gavin Strachan. Gordon Strachan.
He said Gavin first there. I don't think that should count.
I said his laddie.
You've got your 12. You've got your 12.
4-0, Stephen. Take that scoreline tomorrow. All right. No bother, mate.
Aye. Franny, you got your 12. You got Willie Maley, Billy McNeil, Jock Stein, Lou McCarry, Wim Jansen, John Barnes, Martin O'Neill, Gordon Strachan, Tony Mowbray, Neil Lennon, Brendan Rodgers, and Postecoglou. You could have went for Jimmy McStay, Jimmy McGrory, Davy Hay, Liam Brady, Tommy Burns, Joseph Venglos, and Ronnie Dyler.
I've just chucked the comments back on and seen Dr. Joe and Dyler, and I was like, I just totally blanked them out.
So, what's the name of that game show that I'm trying to think of that does this?
Not got a clue, mate. Not got a clue, but I totally know the game you're talking about, and it's Dame One on Day.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I enjoyed that. Now, Stephen, you had a shocker, mate. You did have a shocker.
Well, you put yourself out there and you get what you get. I'm happy with it.
You got it. Well, no, you didn't get the 11, did you? Neil did.
Oh. Prick.
Oh. Right, okay. We're going to move on to one of the other topics. And this was suggested by Jed, who I was kind of stuck for topics for tonight.
You owe him £3.
I do owe him £3. What do you think he'll spend his money on?
Pants.
Polka
dot ones. Okay, so it would be, who would you keep and who would you let go for next season? Which I think is a fair question. And I've tried to write down as many names as we have in our books, which is taking up several pages. But what I'll do is I'll divide it into positions and I'll go from each of you and just see if there's any kind of strong objections, but otherwise we'll kind of rattle through it. So in goals, we've got Joe Hart, Siegrist and Bain. Joe Hart's leaving at the end of the season. We knew that would happen. So we've got Siegrist and Bain on our books. Stephen, starting off with yourself, would you keep both of them? Would you get rid of both of them? If you get rid of both of them, then we have no goalkeepers. I don't even know what Timmy Oluwayemi, if he's still in our books. No heard from him in a long time. He could be dead. I don't know. Hope he's not. But Siegrist and Bain, what would you do?
Get rid of both.
Get rid of both, right? Okay. Why? What about Stevie Woods? Look, fuck it. If everybody's going to get rid of Stevie Woods too.
I think Stevie Woods is a credible goalkeeping coach, to be fair. I think he's took on like Fraser Foster way back when, like he's been there years, like, so he's done a good job. I just think the goalkeeper department needs a major reshuffle, and Joe Hart's retiring, so I think that's high on Roger's priority list, to be fair.
Can I ask you, just to kind of veer off, do you think it's unhealthy to keep the one goalkeeping coach for so long? Because if it's him or it's like his way or the highway, kind of to an extent, well, it's not like he's the manager, but like there's no other opinions in that kind of department there. You're working with that one guy and that's it. Do you think we should ever freshen it up? Do you think he needs a change? How long has he been there for?
Feels like forever. I mean,
I'm not saying he's shite. I don't
think anybody's. I think it's clearly his a top goalkeeping coach, and it seems a very niche sort of a coaching role. So is it worth the risk? Maybe parting ways with a guy that you know you can trust, but totally understand what you're saying, Gavin. Is he maybe stuck in his ways a bit? And obviously, the way the modern game, it's play it out for the back. You would can he kind of adapt to that as well? You would hope he can, but I don't know. I would be reluctant to get rid of him, but I totally understand your argument, Gavin.
The one thing, see, whenever Joe Hart signed for us, and I listened to his first interview, he said that the first thing he did whenever Celtic approached him was he did his research on who was the goalkeeping coach at Celtic Park, and he spoke to people in that, like people who know of him, to find out about his reputation, just to make sure that he's not going to be working under a mug. So it looks like Hart did his research, and that Stevie Woods is actually worth his salt. So I'm not throwing him under a bus. I was talking about a man having done that job for so long. Is it ever a good thing to refresh it? But perhaps not. Aye, so we're ripping out the entire goalkeeping personnel, not the coach. Stevie Woods can still stay there.
I would agree with Stephen. I would bump the two of them off, but let's be honest, Scott Bain's got to stay.
Yeah.
Do any of you guys know about that? Timmy Oluwayemi?
I think he's away. I think he's on loan at a team.
Yeah,
I think
he's away to that Swiss club, isn't he?
I'm not 100% sure, Stephen. I just feel like
Austrian Wacker or something like that. I think he's over there. I
don't know, mate. But I think he's only on loan.
Okay, now centre backs. I'm going to give it to Franny, and unless there's any strong objections from Stephen, now it's just the centre backs. So Cameron Carter-Vickers, Nawrocki, Lagerbielke, Scales, Welsh, and Kobayashi.
Kobayashi, just need to get rid of him. Clearly hasn't got a future. Lagerbielke, I'm not saying I didn't like the guy. It's hard to say. I'm not saying him, but I just feel he'll be away. I just don't think him and Rodgers. I don't think Rodgers rates him. Stephen Welsh, I'd keep it. I think he's a steady squad player. Again, it's another guy that signed a contract, so in reality, he's a bit like Scott Bain. He's probably not got to leave. I think Scales has earned a chance to fight for a position next season. I don't want him to be our first choice centre half, but I feel he deserves a chance to fight for that position. CCV has to stay. Nawrocki, I would give a chance. I've liked what I've seen him, but I do agree he has been a wee bit inconsistent at times.
Right, okay, so Cameron Carter-Vickers keep, Nawrocki keep, Lagerbielke out, Scales keep, Welsh keep, and Kobayashi out.
So it's not really getting rid of much. It's not trimming it by much, Gavin.
Look, can I just say, I have the fear whenever we've got a centre back who doesn't have pace. I really, really hate that. I really hate the vulnerability of that, especially whenever you've got two centre backs playing together who don't have pace. That's the worst combination. Stephen, so we've got Lagerbielke out, Kobayashi out. I think we'd all agree in Kobayashi. It just has not worked out. What about Lagerbielke? And what about keeping people like Stephen Welsh, who I've heard through the grapevine that Stephen Welsh has wanted to leave Celtic because he knows that he's always going to be just there when we need him. But when we don't need them, we're still going to keep a hold of him for emergencies. But he's come up from surely like 23, 24 perhaps, I don't know, and he's not really kicked on in his career. He, from what I've heard, he wants to leave Celtic, but Celtic has been holding him back. What's your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I agree with Franny, to be fair. I think the conclusion is Kobayashi and Lagerbielke are probably on their way to the club. Welsh, he has to be used to the fact that he'll be a bit part player. Nawrocki, I think, needs to stay. Carter-Vickers obviously the mainstay there. For me, the whole Welsh situation, if he goes, he goes. If you get me, I don't mind that. But at the same time, I do agree he's a good player to keep around the team. But to be fair, like I know me and Franny haven't agreed on that tonight. I do agree with him in this aspect that I would get rid of Kobayashi, and I mean Rodgers clearly doesn't like Lagerbielke for whatever reason, so it seems like he's out the door. And then again, that leaves the centre back position up for strengthening, and we'll see what he'll do in the summer. But
Can I ask you one thing? Mind there was a speculation, I think was it back in the summer? Mind that guy who used to play for Aberdeen? He went down to Nottingham Forest.
Boy McKenna. Boy McKenna.
I know that he was very, very unfashionable, and I think he doesn't have much pace either. But do you think that he could have done as a turn? In hindsight,
I don't know. I've never really rated the guy, I'll be honest with you. Never really rated the guy. But is it maybe a bit of a lazy argument to say he knows the league, he knows what it's all about. I'm not going to say he knows what it's all about to play for Celtic, but he'll maybe understand that he does have some international experience. And if I believe what the papers were saying first time round, Rodgers tried to sign him first time round, so maybe as a player that Rodgers likes.
Oh, by the way, see Paul McFarlane is in the comments. I watched whenever you were on the Endless Celts on the last episode, and I thought you came across really, really well. So I hope to see you again. I thought you came across very, very well, articulated your points really, really well. So well done to you, mate. Right, fullbacks. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think I can only. Here, by the way, did Bernabei sign for good?
No, I think it's just a loan, mate.
On loan.
It's just a loan.
Okay. On loan.
So we'll keep Bernabei then in this question, yes. Right, okay. Taylor, Montgomery, AJ, Ralston, and Bernabei to Stephen. So who are we keeping? Who are we getting rid of?
Well, AJ needs to stay. He's the main right back. Taylor the same. Obviously, I still think we need to improve on Taylor quite a lot. Bernabei missed us out the internationality, so I don't know where that's going to go for him. I know he's there on loan to the end of the year with a few to permanent options. So I mean, if he performs well in Brazil, they'll probably take that option up. So that leaves Montgomery. I would keep Montgomery around, to be fair. I think Montgomery shows a wee bit of potential. Frame as well could come in next season, but we do need to improve that left back position. Ralston is just like Welsh to me, in my opinion. He how would you say, he's just a bit part player. If we can get better backup in for Johnson, I'll be well for it, to be fair, or even someone to challenge him, because you can always do better in every position. But to go, it would be Bernabei. That's the only one I will let go from the fullback department at the minute.
Okay. I think because we're low in quality and low in numbers as well. So Taylor, you would definitely keep. AJ, obviously, you would keep. I would keep Ralston. Cult hero aside, yeah, I would still keep him for domestic purposes. And I like sometimes it can just add that physical element. Sometimes it's very handy in away games. And by the way, one underrated thing about Ralston, have you ever seen that kind of through ball that he can put around?
Aye.
Very, very underrated skill. Not many people can do it, but the Bricky can do it. Bernabei, he can get to fuck. On to
in the politest way.
Centre backs, we've got we've got a lot of people now. First off, correct me if I'm wrong with this list, but Franny, you can kind of run the rule over it unless Stephen objects to anything. But the list, as far as I'm aware of, for centre backs is Iwata, O'Reilly, Hatate, Callum McGregor, Home, Bernardo, and the question is, should we buy him? McCarthy, Kelly, who I think is a centre mid, the youngster that is, and Kwon. So apologies if I've missed anyone out. Iwata, O'Reilly, Hatate, Calmac, Home, Bernardo, McCarthy, Kelly, and Kwon. Tell me if I've missed anyone.
I don't know, because there's that many gaps. I'll be honest with
you. Who would you keep? Who would you let go?
Iwata, I would keep as a player I've always liked, and it seems strange saying that when I know he's obviously getting a game now, but it doesn't feel like he's ever had a sustained run in the team. But he's a player I do like, but equally I would like to sort of strengthen that number 6 role. I feel like that central defence. Hatate, did we say him?
How has Iwata been doing since?
I think he was Hearts, he wasn't great. I'll be honest, he wasn't great against Hearts, but I think outside of that, he's been good.
Okay.
Good. It's just to keep it simple.
Yeah, but he didn't do well against Hearts when we really needed him, though.
Aye. So sometimes you can maybe judge a player and then. But nah, I would keep Iwata. I would keep Home. I think he's shown things that he looks like he could be a player. McGregor's obviously going to stay. McCarthy, I mean, I would say get rid of him, but it feels like he's got to see his contract. But just for the nature of this question, get rid of McCarthy. Bernardo, he's got to go on a real good run for me to convince me to sign him
So
up.
probably is that a probably not for
Probably
Bernardo?
not Bernardo. Nah, I probably wouldn't sign him. If you had to ask me now, I would not sign Bernardo right now. I don't think he's done it consistently enough.
O'Reilly,
O'Reilly, I'd keep him. But
what about what if we get 20 plus?
Oh no, I think you sell him. I don't even think it's an argument. I think he goes.
Okay, so sell him for a high fee then, yeah?
Aye. Who else we got here to talk about?
Hatate?
Keep Hatate. I genuinely think he's arguably one of our best players when he's on his game. But again, if you get offered silly money for him, he's got to go. It's not going to be up for debate. He's got to go away. We're not really trimming the squad by much here.
Kwon?
I would get shot at
him.
If ever there's writing a guy off after one game, that is what I done with Kwon.
Yeah,
that
guilty.
Atletico Bilbao game. Wow, that was horrendous.
And what do you make of?
I appreciate he's done it at St Mirren. He's looks a no bad player at St Mirren, but fuck me, he was terrible against Bilbao.
Aye, that was going to be my question. What do you say to the people that are saying, well, he's like one of the best players for St Mirren? I think that too much focus is placed on him because he's a Celtic player. You know, I watched the game for St Mirren where he got man of the match for St Mirren, but the St Mirren fans were saying, what are you talking about? You forgot about that guy. You forgot about that guy. You're just focusing on him because he's a Celtic player. So there's a bit of kind of Celtic bias, I think. Kelly is a young player, obviously. You're going to keep him. You're not going to get angry and get rid of a teenager. Right, so Awata keep, O'Reilly, sell him for a high fee. Hatate keep, Calmac keep, Home keep. Interesting one. Bernardo, probably not. McCarthy out, but he'll probably see out his contract. And Kwon out. Stephen, Stephen, what beer are you drinking tonight, mate?
Rockshore.
Rockshore. Any good?
It's decent, mate. It's nice. It goes down quite easily, which is why I'm powering through them, to be fair. They're nice. I needed a drink.
Good stuff, mate. Would you disagree with any of Franny's comments there?
To be fair, no. It's quite a good assessment on it, to be honest. I mean, Kwon's doing well at St Mirren. Maybe he's found his level. Daniel Kelly is up and coming. I know there's rumours of a new contract. Iwata just needs to learn the pace of the Scottish game. Sometimes he's good. Sometimes, like Hartsey, can get caught in the ball. McGregor, I mean, it's just the mainstay. O'Reilly will be away, so he'll need replaced. Bernardo, for me, the hype's gone about him at the minute. He came in and done quite well for a period of time, and now it seems to have died off. I wouldn't be too concerned if he goes back to Benfica. There will be strength that needs done in that centre midfield area, but I do agree with Franny's kind of assessment overall, to be fair.
To be honest, two interesting comments here. Okay, so for Maestro, I think we should give Kwon a chance. Now, I'm guilty of writing players off within one game. Same way that you can flip it around the other way and praise a player after one game, think, oh, he's a baller. There is the door still ajar for Kwon. I'm not in a rush to get the guy out. I just think the guy is hilarious for the fact that he says that he's going to be the best Celtic player and then he's going to either walk into the Bundesliga or the English Premier League. I love that arrogance or that foolhardy.
I totally don't mind that. But I think you've got to turn up, You've got to turn up a bit.
Totally, I agree. The other thing is that somebody did make the comment about Hatate, sell Hatate for a high fee. If who was it? Was it Brighton who were kind of rumoured about him? It might not be Brighton.
I think he's quite pals with that Matomo, isn't it? I think he's quite pals with him.
It could be. Hatate, it looks like a dour character. It could be a difficult man to befriend. However, if a high fee came in for Hatate, I think we should keep an open mind about him. So I'd want to keep him from a talent perspective, as long as he can stay injury free, because I think his time at Celtic has been riddled with injuries. However, if the right money came in, I would let him go. Pardon me. Right, so we're going to move on to the wingers here. Now, the wingers, it's an embarrassing list. We'll get 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think we've got 9, okay? 2 of them on loan. 3 are on loan. So I'll start off with the lone ones. Haksabanovic. I don't know how he's doing it, folk. I've got no idea how he's
I've
doing
no
it.
idea, mate. No idea.
Probably posing. He's probably got a new tattoo and posing and stuff like that. I don't know. Do you think he's very much like Palmer? Do you think Palmer's a better player than Haksabanovic?
I would actually argue Haksabanovic is a better player than Palmer, but I think Palmer's attitude's slightly better. I'd say Palmer's got a better attitude than Haksabanovic. I actually think Haksabanovic has got it to be a really good player. I just don't think he's got it mentally and attitude-wise to be a top player. Whereas I think Palmer, you can question maybe his attitude and his work rate, but I think you could coach it into him. Whereas I think Haksabanovic is just, it's not really for him. I think he just wants to be a maverick, if you like, that type of guy.
Yeah. See, the players like Haksabanovic, it reminds me of that quote that George Bush, the president, got horribly wrong. And it was, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And if you've got that type of flair player who is approaching his mid-20s, who's still flirting to be a good player, and you're still persevering, and you've still got fans in your support who are saying, give him a chance, give him a run of games. And like the guy's like 24, 25, and he's still flirting with the idea of being a proper talent, but every opportunity he gets, he throws it away one way or the other. I think we need to be more ruthless with those types of players. Haksabanovic.
I'll get shot at Haksabanovic, but I would get
a shot of Haksabanovic, and that's exactly what I'm saying. He's just, if you're not doing it at one club, you're not doing it at the other club. You know, the writing's on the wall. It can't be that every coach in your career is wrong, but this guy is right. You know, so I would get rid of Haksabanovic. Telio.
I'd get rid of him too. I'd get rid of him. It was one I was never ever excited about when we brought him in. I think it was one of them where it was a Postecoglou signing. I feel like we'll bring a guy in, probably arguably the top player in the Australian League at the time. Bring him in. It's just not worked out for the guy. He's came over to a new continent. That's not a bad thing. It's not slanting the guy. I don't really think he's good enough.
Stephen, welcome back. How are you?
I'm fine. Good.
Are you still down about that quiz earlier on?
No, but to be fair, look, it's one of these things. I get competitive in that, but Franny won fair and square. Tortured me. Got the victory.
Out of curiosity, who's your favourite Irish player to have played for Celtic?
Aidan McGeady, all day.
Probably.
I loved Aidan.
I think Robbie Keane would be too obvious, but he was a long player.
Aidan McGeady, because of longevity, is why I would pick him. Robbie Keane was brilliant goal scorer, but McGeady gave me some brilliant moments as a Celtic fan. So he's easily my top Irish player.
And Robbie Keane was not here at a good time either.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a big issue there. Like,
I think probably if we lived long enough, then Charlie Tully would have been our favourite Irish player, because the guy he was like the first ever like maverick type player. Like, we're talking about the people who pretended to be great players like Haksabanovic, but Charlie Tully was an amazing player. So Stephen, bring you back in to finish off the wingers here, not in that fashion, but just to kind of talk about them. Sorry. So we have got Haksabanovic out. Would you agree with that, or would you bring him back in from the cold?
I think he's gone. I'll see tomorrow, granted, but I think he's away. He's one of them players that I don't know. It doesn't quite suit the style that we're doing at the minute. I think Palmer, like Franny said, we need to keep him. But Haksabanovic he'll be away. I think if he doesn't sign for Stoke, I think he'll be away to another European club over in Europe. But his time's done. He's gone.
Now, one player that we've written off very, very quickly, maybe rightly, maybe wrongly, is Telio. Franny says out. What's quite perplexing is that the Australian Celtic fans were really saying, wait till you see this guy play. And like, his YouTube clips are few and far between. Like, he's playing against shite opposition. Telio, he's a young diminutive, if I can pronounce that word right. I don't see what the hype is about Telio, but at the same time, our Australian friends are saying that he's a talent. I don't know if they're just sticking by their countrymen. Can you see past that? Can you actually see what the hype is about this guy?
Well, he definitely has talent. When he went back on loan to Melbourne, he scored a cracking goal within the first couple of appearances. When he reintroduced himself to the squad the second time around, but then I think he's pulled up with a hamstring injury. So I think some of these players look good in the Australian League and they don't quite make it, and that's fine. I think the Australian League's a different level to the SPFL, and by that I mean the SPFL's better. And me like Franny, I think a lot of these players aren't for Rodgers, let's be fair. A lot of these players were signed by the previous regime. And if you can cut your losses and regain a transfer fee, then that's brilliant. And also get him off the wage bill. I would pack him off. I would send him back to Australia.
Thank you. Can I ask you another thing about Irish players? So obviously you said Ed McGeady, and we've got from Celtic to Ed
I know,
McGeady.
I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that.
I get that. He's as Scottish as what I am. You know, like, I'm the same age as Ed McGeady. But obviously his grandparents, same as my grandparents, Irish. Albeit Ed McGeady, I think he holidayed in Ireland every year, whereas I never did that. Apart from the fact that I was never a professional footballer. But talking about the links to Ireland, I think Robbie Keane was the most talented in my lifetime. Most talented in my lifetime. But what about Neil Lennon? So obviously he's from the north, but does he not count? And that was the other thing I was going to ask you as well. See, if you're born in the north, don't you have the option to play for the Republic? And if that is the case, why do some choose to play for the north?
I mean,
so McLean's from Derry, is that right? And he chose to play for the Republic. So why do you think Neil Lennon chose to play for the North when he knew that it was always going to be difficult? Or do you think it's just like it's where you're from? I don't know.
Look, this is Gavin. This is really divisive, right? And I mean, Dion comes in here, like that's no problem. So I was like, "What is going on?" Because I thought I'd done something, but there we go. Twitter's been suspended. Fair enough. But I think that it's divisive. Times have changed, right? A lot of people now will play for the North, no problem. Back then, Neil Lennon he's from Lurgan. He's a proud North of Ireland man. And I think he just wanted to play for the country he was from, which was the North of Ireland. It's one of these things. And the abuse he received, the kind of threats he received was incredible, and that he got threatened by a paramilitary organisation before he actually stepped out onto a pitch for Northern Ireland, and stuff he had to endure was beyond belief. And look, I didn't overlook him. The only reason why I picked McGeady was because of the excitement he gave me. Neil Lennon was obviously a player who done the dirty work and got got in terms of it goes unnoticed. Ian McGeady was fantastic, and again he was Scottish, but he had Irish heritage, and that's the reason why I picked him. But I think it's changed now. I mean, you look even up to Paddy McCourt, Niall McGinn, when they were with Celtic, they still played for the national team, and it didn't really get as much as abuse as Lenny would have previously, which is good to see. I mean, things have changed. If you look over here, get into the political side of things, Michelle O'Neill, Sinn Féin now are the biggest party in the North, and I think things are starting to align. Look, I'm not saying there's going to be a border poll, there's going to be a United Ireland within the next 5 or 6 years. There's a lot of things that need to be ironed out, but times of death. Yeah, exactly. I've seen that. That was disgusting, and I think it was a member of the Dumbarton staff that actually done that, which baffles me.
Does Lennon's son play for Dumbarton, or was that the opposite?
Yeah, Dumbarton.
So
yeah, he
was abused by his own.
I think his staff. I think that's what I heard about bullets in the post. But it's one of these ones. Players have the right to choose. That James McLean picked Ireland. I think he's really big in his beliefs, and he gets abuse on a scale that you haven't seen before in England, and it never gets called out. And I'm probably going way off here, by the way, in your question.
I think that's exactly what I was going for. Like, I I remember going to a stadium tour of Croke Park, and I was talking to the tour guide, and I was like, why do like the Irish rugby team have like a wide Irish rugby team, but for football it's divided? And I know that that's another thing entirely, football in Ireland compared to rugby in Ireland. But that was like a curiosity I've always had. Some players who are born in the North, why would they choose to play for the North when all they've known is discrimination going back to their generations throughout and out? But there are some players who will just say, fuck it, I'm going to play for the Republic. I found that curious. I just found it an intriguing question, and I've never actually been somebody about it.
I think if you're looking at Neil Lennon's point of view, he was playing like he was getting caps for Northern Ireland when he was playing with Leicester. It was fine. It only changed when he got to Celtic, which is when the abuse kicked in. It's when the bullets in the post, the bomb threats, the letter bombs, and the parcel bombs, etc., came to him. And it feels like to me that the likes of the EFL, SFA, the racism that Irish players receive is incredible, but it never gets called out. It never gets stamped out. James McLean gets a ban for not wearing a poppy. Do you know what I mean? But the EFL don't look at the abuse he receives on a daily basis, with his family getting threatened, with him getting threatened from all sections of sport in England. Same with Lenny. His son recently, Lennon Gallagher at Dumbarton, getting jibes about bullets in the post. It's disgusting, the discrimination that Irish people still face in the sporting kind of world and landscape. But it does kind of gets brushed onto the carpet, and you're told to move on and kind of suck it up. The reason, kind of getting to the crux of your question, Neil Lennon couldn't change his allegiance when he joined Celtic. He already had caps, the full caps for Northern Ireland at that point. So he had to keep playing for that national team. So that's why he probably stayed with them. That's why he still represented them. And in his mind, he didn't see an issue. But of course, the paramilitary organisations over here sending death threats and sending parcel bombs. And then that's when it gets in that kind of discrimination and terrorist kind of stuff. And it's not good. It's changed now. I see a lot of people in the Northern Irish national team that would be of Catholic origins and don't seem to get as much as abuse as you would have got back in the day. But I think that's much to do with the parent club they're at. Mm-hmm. If they're at Celtic, it might change. But again, I kind of counter that by saying McCourt and McGinn didn't receive as much as Neil Lennon did. Still received it, but not on the scale. But yeah, times are changing, Gavin, and Ireland's changing, and I think it's for the better.
I feel like I want to play Bob Dylan right now. Things are changing. Thank you very much. No, I really appreciate that, and I was genuinely that's where I was kind of going. That was my question. I think it takes brave people to do both. Brave people to play for the North if they're from the North, such as Neil Lennon, to play through that adversity, and same with James McLean, to play for the Republic. And he's a very, very brave person. In fact, Martin O'Neill spoke about it in TalkSport, that James McLean is one of the bravest people that he's ever met. Doesn't mean he's the smartest guy in the world, but he's one of the bravest people that he's known because of sticking by your principles, even though it will be difficult for you, difficult for your family, but to stay by those principles, just because you know it's right, but you know the flack it'll invite upon you. So I think it's brave on both people for their different decisions. But anyway, right back to who we're keeping and who we're letting go.
Is that where we're at?
We'll start like that. Now, one final, I think it's the final loan player for the Wingers. The conundrum that is Mikey Johnson, who's ripping up. Have you seen the goals that he's scoring for West Brom? So, Stephen, yep. you're still on the microphone for this one. Mikey Johnson, again, approaching mid-20s right now. Are we keeping him? Or are we going?
Oh, he's going, mate. His time's done. I think the thing with Mikey is he can play well when he's not under the extreme amount of pressure that you feel with Celtic. And we talked about this at the start. Some players just can't cope with it, and it's not built into them. And I think he's one of them players. He's thriving at West Brom because they're a club who aren't challenging for league titles. They don't need to win every game. The supporters are happy with a good performance and a win here and there because that's the type of standard they are. And that's no disrespect, but they're no Celtic. And I think he feels that. I think he feels a great amount of pressure. And look, that pressure it's funny, the mental side of things of football can lead to fatigue, can lead to injuries, can lead to breakdowns and all that type of stuff. So it's a whole thing. Being mentally exhausted and if you can't cope can lead to wee niggles and lead to kind of being injury prone. And I think Mikey Johnson suffered that, especially in that kind of period when Neil Lennon was there, Rogers was there. He was fits and starts, and then he got loaned to Portugal, managed to play a full season, came back to us, and then broke down within the first 2 or 3 games. And that's the way his career has been, and that's the way I see it going. I think West Brom or a European club will suit him down to the ground. It's just the pressure side of things I don't think Mikey can cope with. And look, that's no disrespect to Mikey Johnson. He's a good talent. We've seen it in a Celtic shirt. He scored some wonderful goals, even in Europe. Sarajevo, you remember that one? Just outside the box. He just smashed it into the top bin. So he's contributed well, but it's one of them ones his time's done. So it is.
Fair enough. Vata.
He can go to, I think.
Did he sign a new contract?
Don't believe so yet. So he might be away anyway, because I think his contract's out in the summer anyway, isn't it?
Okay, Vata.
Yep.
Get to fuck.
I just think he's one of these guys that are great without actually kicking a ball, really.
I agree with that. Yeah.
I also think that whenever there's a vacuum of talent at Lennoxtown in terms of the youngsters, and there's one guy whose name keeps getting repeated, it's like we're latching onto it, especially because his dad was a Celtic player, and we're hoping he's going to be this brilliant player. And anytime he gets a minute on the park and he whips in a cross that it might meet somebody's head, then we think, oh, fuck, he is a player. And we're clamouring for him to get more minutes, where in reality, it might not be that he's got as much talent as what we hope for. I think we're hoping for more than perhaps what he's able to deliver. And I think cream rises to the crop. And yeah, so Forrest, James Forrest, I think he's maybe got 1 more year left on his contract. I would keep him. I think it would. There was rumours in the winter.
Ayr United or something, eh?
Yeah, Ayr United, and I guess there's that kind of McGeady link as well. And
Brownie,
there obviously.
Yeah, and Forrest is from Ayrshire anyway.
That's right.
I don't know, what 1 more year before Forrest. What do you think?
If we went, I would not be disappointed, Gav. I think we've got what we've got for Forrest. I don't think we've got You'll get the odd performance here and there, I think, throughout a season. Even next season, you'll get maybe a good 30 and 40 minutes for him here and there. But it's not one I'd be disappointed if he left. But I'm with you. I think he stays. It's one of them. He stays, I think.
Do you think it's difficult to see the wood for the trees with Forrest, Stephen?
The what?
That's okay.
The wood from the trees? I don't know what that means, but Jamesy to me, if he stays again, it's like he's a bit part player. I don't know if he'll want to go and finish his career playing. Yeah, exactly, Franny. Playing first team football. Could Ayr be that? Yeah, possibly. Could Aberdeen be that? There's rumours about that as well, possibly. But does he want to be a one club man? Does he want that affinity? Does he want that kind of legacy? I believe he probably does, and that's why I see him staying until he retires at Celtic. But his game time is going to be limited to beyond belief. I think, like Franny even said there about being a bit part player, will he even be that next season? I think he'll be just one of them guys who sit in the dressing room and gee everyone up and you get the people coming out. He's really good around the dressing room, don't want them people. But Jamesy's been fantastic for Celtic, and again, no disrespect to him, but the time's moved on. Jamesy's time should be moving on, but he's a one club man, and we need to serve him that respect to decide what he wants to do with his future.
Mm-hmm. You know, whenever you hear of like professionals giving up the game and going into management, I think Forrest would be the least likely person to become a manager. I could never ever see that happening. I'll always think about Forrest and like his relationship with the Celtic fans and see if he had character. Like we spoke about Johnny Doyle earlier on and putting away the kind of the ill discipline, but like. Maybe the kind of the sentimental moments, you know, like the kind of the visual parts of like whenever you celebrate in front of the fans, like you saw Kieran Tierney, you know, taking a microphone and singing in front of the Serenade and the Green Brigade and stuff like that. I always wonder if James Forrest exhibited those sort of moments, that type of character, then I think it would have been a totally different conversation about how he goes down as a Celtic great. I think probably a conversation for another time, but I think because he kind of keeps himself to himself, he's not very outspoken, and
I kind of get what you're saying.
I get it.
Anyway, right, okay. So Forrest, you guys would probably get rid of. Okay. In a nice way. Okay. You don't. Okay. Right, Kuhn, we're keeping him surely.
Yeah, keep them. Yeah.
I don't. I'll be honest. It's Livy.
But if you're like if you're feeling about that like that Kuhn, yeah. But if you're feeling like that about Kuhn at the minute, surely Palma falls into that bracket then.
Nah, because Palma's. I mean, I appreciate maybe his numbers, but you look at Palma's numbers.
But his overall game, though, it's overall kind of. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying get rid of Palma, but I'm saying if you put Kuhn in that bracket, then surely Palma falls that.
Palma's played 5 games and he's had 60 good minutes in the 5 games. Obviously, he's not played 90 each game, but 5 appearances and he's had 1 good game. A really good game, I'll concede that. He had a really good game that day. He had 4 shite games before that. I don't think Palma's I don't think Palma's in that kind of ratio.
Right. So what would do we Kuhn?
I keep him.
I'll say, well, if it was a summer right now, I'd tell him, but I'll give him. Ask me in a few weeks, Gavin.
I think he's a bit like. I think he's a bit like.
I've that corner, so I'll probably be as well as writing Kuhn off day.
I think he's in a kind of similar camp to Nawrocki. Too small of a sample size to judge him on.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the financial outlay that we've made on those guys, we need another season before we can actually make up a mind on them.
I
agree.
Fair.
Right. So Palmer, are we keeping him as well? Yeah.
Yes.
See, can you hear me?
No. Thankfully.
Can you hear me?
Aye.
Oh, Franny! Jesus, I thought you were being serious there for a second. See, the thing with me with Palma is I wouldn't be too bothered if I sold him. See, that's what I'm saying about Franny and Kuhn. Palma, to me, his stats look good and it's cushy what he's doing, but an overall kind of impact on the game, I think sometimes he's non-existent and he frustrates the absolute bag clean out of me. Taking a man on, he very rarely does it. He cuts in. He gets red 9 times out of 10. I always go back to the Bucky Thistle game. That left back or right back they had him on toast, on absolute toast. And I was like, this guy's a professional footballer.
Is your frustration maybe built on a bit for knowing that there's a player in there and trying to get it out?
Yes, I do agree with that, but he's not shown it enough, Franny. Do you know what I mean? He's not like you watch him in games, and our group chat goes mental sometimes about he's not taking his man on, he's not getting to the byline, he's very readable, he telegraphs his passes, and that's the way I think he is. Sometimes he does take his man on and he gets that final ball in, and you're like, yes, he's finally doing it, but he does it once out of maybe 10 tries. Do you understand what I'm saying? His stats in terms of assists are good, his contributions are good, but I know I'm probably contradicting myself, but an overall kind of 90-minute game, he doesn't really do enough for me, Gavin, and that's why I wouldn't be too fussed if we cashed in on him. We wouldn't get much, but if we took that opportunity, I wouldn't be too fussed.
And for Lindsay here, Palmer should have until the end of the season, a few more months. Do you think that we're kind of cursed with South Americans? Apart from Izagiri.
It's a fair comment, like.
Is it?
He had Juarez, who, by all accounts, should have been brilliant and wasn't he?
He should have been. He should have been.
He should have been here. I was proper excited when we got him.
Bernabé.
Shite. Bernabé. Did we not say another Honduras boy?
No, just Izagiri and Palma. We had the guy called like Miku, was it?
Miku, Venezuela. He started the Barcelona win, Gavin.
I know.
So he did.
By the way, he actually beat Barcelona twice that season with 2 different teams. He beat them with his
was it Getafe?
I can't remember who it was with, mate, but it was his parent club.
Christian Gamboa.
He wasn't that brilliant. He was
quick though. He was speedy, but he wasn't that good.
Maybe it is just maybe something with South Americans. They just didn't seem to.
See, do you not think it might be? Do you not think it might be a culture issue?
Well, I wouldn't say so because they succeed down in England. To be fair,
yeah, fair point. Actually, I was just thinking mentality wise there. Do you know what I mean? Laid back and kind of.
They're in it, but laid back. They're absolute rockets, mate. Absolute rockets.
Palma's not a rocket. Watching Palma's like watching paint dry. Do you know what I mean? He's not a rocket. So he's not.
I mean,
like,
I was going to say whether you like him or not. I think a lot is I'll hate him, but I think attitude-wise, Morelos was good for them in that sense. So he worked.
Morelos for a period.
He epitomised what South American is. I think
that street fighter mentality.
Aye, just an absolute rocket.
Mm.
We get rockets, but no in a good way. Like Bernabe, see Bernabe missing his flight. That just summed him up. Absolutely, just sums that guy up. That he's missed a connecting flight to sign for the team.
Have any of you missed a connecting flight before? It's happened to me once.
No,
I hate planes, mate. I stay away from planes. If I can get anywhere on a boat, I'm on a boat. Hate planes. I don't know why people get planes. Do you know, it baffles me because like these things, right, are up in the air and they're gonna just go boom, right, like into the sea or into anything. What?
A ship can do the same, but a ship can do the same.
But mate, out in the REC, there's nothing but water. There's no like anything that stop you from sinking.
There's nothing but water at the sea. Who would have thought that?
Am I not right in saying that Titanic has an association with the north of Ireland?
It does, mate. But it sank in Canada or something. Didn't sink here.
But did you not put a hole in it or something? Is that not why it sank in Canada?
I didn't put a hole in it, mate. Planes, I mean, mate, planes terrify me. I was on a plane to Spain once, and I swear, I spent the majority of the flight clinging onto my seat, like I mean clinging, like looking out the window. And we were going into Lanzarote, right? And I don't know if you've been to Lanzarote Airport, but it's surrounded by water, and I'm seeing this plane get lower and lower, and it's just water. I'm like, what is going on? It terrifies me, and it does terrifies me big time. Planes.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Okay. Right. Okay. And
I don't know, but there you go.
By the way, you know that Jimmy Johnson was fucking terrified of planes.
Dennis Bergkamp. Dennis Bergkamp was the same.
Yeah, I think you're right. Dennis Bergkamp. That rings a bell as well. Yeah. Anyway, back to the wingers. Maida, are we keeping him?
Aye.
Yes, 100%.
Just to continue playing him out of position for another season. Do you think he enjoys it? Just getting flogged on the fucking wing when he's like, I didn't play this position for my club team in Japan or for my country. This is not
maybe that's why he doesn't celebrate. He doesn't celebrate. Like, fuck us.
He seems to suit us out there. And then let's be honest, the man that knew him better than anybody, Postecoglou, played him there.
Do you think he's grown his hair in protest?
I've heard that he's got to reveal why he's grown it. I don't know why, but I hope if it
probably do with his kids or something. That's what it is.
If it keeps up performances like Sunday, I hope he grows it in even more.
Yeah, by the way, I hate fucking Pokemon. I hate all that shit. See those Pokemon celebrations?
Is that all that is? I wouldn't have came.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Mad celebrations for Pokemon. I hate all that fish. I don't know. Anyway, Maida, we're keeping him. Aye. Right, Yang. What's happening with him?
Keeping him. He's going to be a player. He's going to be a baller.
How long will it be for him to be a player? Next season?
It's happening now. It's happening right now as we speak.
I'm kind of. I think he needs a good run in the team. I would at least give him another season because I think Kyogo, Maeda for me and Hatate are sort of exceptions to the rule. Where guys coming from, obviously we've talked about Telio coming from a different club, but I think like Asia is totally different. Absolutely, and guys maybe take 6 months to a year to properly bed in. So I think guys like Yang are just there. That's natural for them to maybe, and considering what is a 19-year-old, 20, so he's a young laddie. I know Maeda and Hatate were young when they came in. Kyogo was obviously 25, 26, so he was kind of older. But I think Yang is developing how you would maybe expect someone coming from total different
Good point,
continent. I think he's developing how you'd expect it.
Yang will be 22 in May.
It's just made a cunt of me there, Gavin. That's what he was fucking 19.
How do you think I felt all night?
But no, I'd keep Yang. I think there is something in there.
No,
Out of all the wingers, he excites me the most. Yang.
Right, so Palmer keep, Maeda keep, Kuhn keep, Forrest gracefully put out to pass from you. Vata, I think we're keeping him. I don't know what we're doing with Vata. Doesn't matter about Vata.
That can go for me.
Mikey Johnson out, Tillio out, Yang keep. Okay, so we're keeping Yang, we're keeping Kuhn, we're keeping Palmer, and we're keeping Maeda.
Yep.
Interesting. Four wingers who are all frustrating in their own way.
Yes.
So who's got the biggest hope? Yang, Kuhn, Palmer, or Maeda?
Yang.
Biggest,
1,000,000% Yang.
Highest ceiling, yeah. Okay. Now, the forwards was fucking scraping the barrel here. You've got Kyogo, oh no, and Ida, who's already on loan. Would you buy Ida?
Absolutely not a hope in hell I would buy Ida. No chance. Not a hope.
Depends on the money. See, 3 to 4 million, I would take him, but I would not take him at the detriment in not going and trying getting somebody else, if that makes sense. I think we need better in Ida. I think he's done well. He's done really well since he came in. He might get us the goals it wins us this league. But I don't really think you've seen him against Livingston. He looked bad at times. He did look bad at times against Livingston. But I don't know. Obviously, I keep Kyogo. I would keep. I think Rodgers can maybe get a player. I think there is a player, but I think he only gets 6 months. He's been here, a year and a half now, and come the summer. I think you can only give him another 6 months before you then go, nah, well, we've gave you a chance, mate. But I would bring in another striker. I think it's obvious. I don't think we'll go for. I don't think we can go next season as Kyogo, Ida, and O. I think we need Kyogo and other. And I would happy if we keep O or get rid of O and replace O with Ida. I just think the striker we need to go for maybe needs to be of the Dembele or Edward mould, like somebody that you would
Franny, I think we've got a crisis. We've got a crisis up front.
I think you need to go for somebody you would expect Rodgers to kind of have, and that sounds silly because I mean Kyogo is absolutely top. I feel that Rodgers don't think Rodgers doesn't rate him, but for Rodgers to properly play the way he wants to play, I don't know if a Kyogo is his type of striker. And I fear not to compare Kyogo to Kane. I worry with some fans that it's like, well, who we got to get that's better than Kyogo? Or why do we maybe just stick with Ida and all because nobody's coming in to replace Kyogo? And why can Kyogo suddenly not just be number 2 and you actually replace Kyogo? I don't want to get in the sort of thing where it's like, well, nobody can be better than Kyogo. Somebody can be. As much as I think Kyogo is frightening and would be more, I think he needs to get back in the team as soon as I would play him on Saturday. I don't want us to get stuck and go, but nobody's got to be better than him. Why bring in a guy that knows he's got to be in the bench? Didn't look at it that way. Look at it to come in and be better than Kyogo.
Yeah, I've said that in our group chat, and I want to hear from the people in the comments. If I was Kyogo, or if I was Kyogo's agent, I would be manufacturing a move for the summer. The writing is on the wall. As long as Brendan Rodgers stays as Celtic manager, then Kyogo is not going to get the nod. We all love Kyogo. You don't need to rhyme off everything he's done for Celtic, or the fact that he bailed us out in the 2 games against the Huns this season. But if I was Kyogo's agent, I'd be making a move, because the guy is a fantastic footballer, and now we're playing a style of football that no longer complements him. And the way that Celtic have been running right now, recruitment wise, I know that that's a big topic, but it's not suiting Kyogo. Kyogo had everything wrapped around him, and I don't mean that in a patronising way, but it was to the benefit of the group and to the benefit of Kyogo, and we reaped the rewards. We got a double in the first season and a treble in the second season.
Yeah.
How was that not a winning formula? Now it's just been ripped up. Kyogo, for his career, is 29 now, almost approaching 30. If I was him, I'd be seeking a new move, even if it meant going back to Japan. If like the other European clubs are not going to take him, then go back to Japan. He's experienced it in Scotland. He's done fantastic. Why would he stay another season to be on the bench? Why would he be a Lee Griffiths under Dembele? That sort of thing, you know? If the manager doesn't appreciate him, if he's not going to build the team around him, then go. He's at that crucial age as a striker where your next big contract is going to be, you know, your kind of money maker to set you up for life, to set up your family. His footballing career is not going to be fulfilled remaining in Scotland under this management regime, under this playing style. If I'm him or his agent, I'd make that move. But Stephen, me and you have had disagreements about do you think that O has got a future at Celtic?
Yeah, I certainly do. I think O is the prototype of a Rogers striker. Physical, tall, quick, can hold the ball up, can link up well. He just needs to kind of tune his finishing abilities and tune his overall game. And I think, like Franny said, to be fair, that Rogers should be confident enough he can get a player out of him. O has been... I think O's better than Ida, or Ida, whatever the fuck you want to call him. That's my personal opinion. I think he's better than him. Ida's just come in at a time where we were desperately crying out for that striker, the difference of like a physical striker to Kyogo. And Ida's come in and look, he scored a couple of goals, but I've not been really overall impressed with him. I would let him go back to Norwich. As Franny said again, we're agreeing now, which is fantastic. I would be looking to get someone better in, and if that means Kyogo as well, yes, get someone better than Kyogo. If it's within the realms of possibility, you do that and you scout properly and you get the right player in to suit a Roger style. And Gavin, I totally agree with yourself.
I don't think Kyogo doesn't suit Roger. I think we can all agree we've been playing slow. We've not been crossed in as quick. If we can cross it in quicker, like what Jan has been doing and things like that kind of suits Kyogo.
Yeah, it does, but it's not happening regularly.
No,
it's not happening. Do you know what I mean? It's not like every game now we're seeing that. It's still the tactical thing of Rodgers to be slow and pedantic on the ball and open the space up, playing quick passing in the middle and stuff like that. But if the status quo remains for Kyogo, I do agree with Gavin. The only solution for him to find first-team football is to leave. And for me, it's a sad way to end a glittering Celtic career if he just leaves out the back door and after 2 good seasons of being our top goal scorer to one where he didn't quite fit the style. I wouldn't like that. Can we get Kyogo back to number 1? Yes, I do believe that. Like Franny said, if Yang and if Palma and if Kuhn can get that ball in earlier into the box, then maybe you could benefit from that. But until we see that consistency of the actual tactical play, Kyogo doesn't suit the style. It's been pretty obvious all season. And I think Rodgers wants a prototype of a Dembele or an Edouard. And that's why I think O should stick around, because again, as I said there, he is the actual definition of a physical, tall, quick striker, but he needs to fit that into an overall 90-minute game. He's still quite young to do that and coach him into that kind of style. But Ida can go back to Norwich. It just does my head on. I don't know what else to say. But yeah, keep Kyogo. Back home to Ida, the Norwich.
Stephen, I'm not going to argue with you about but can I ask you this? Okay, so he will be 23 in April. So in less than 1 month, he'll be 23. Do you think that he has got the potential to be our main number 9? And when I ask you that, I'm asking you, and if you compare that to your standards as a Celtic number 9, who we've seen in the past and who you want to represent us as the kind of main centre forward, do you think that him coming up for 23 in 1 month's time really, truly represents the future for Celtic?
At the minute, no. But I think we can agree we've seen bits of O and we've been impressed by him. That's why I'm saying if he can combine that and combine his strengths and learn under a coach like Rodgers, then I think the only way for him's up. If he wants a bigger move than Celtic, he needs to perform. He needs to get his head down. He needs to train well. He needs to feature in the first team. And unfortunately, this season he hasn't been. But Rodgers hasn't come out and said anything about he hasn't said he's going to leave on loan. He hasn't been vocal about that. So I'm hoping he sees a part from him in the future. Look, I'm not naive enough to say like that David Burnaby is going to be our number 1 left back. No, I don't think O's there yet. But I do think that O can do it. Jurgen Klinsmann believed so when he was manager of South Korea. Unfortunately, he got sacked, which maybe for calling up O. But I think that there is a player there. I've liked what I've seen of him. There was a game at St Johnstone, I think, where he turned Constantine inside out and scored a fantastic goal. Them bits of play, if we can get that into just an overall 90-minute game, I think he'd be a brilliant player. There's something there, Gavin, and that's why I would keep him for one more season at least.
Fair dues. Mm-hmm. You know what I love about this podcast? The fact that we've been on for 2 hours and 10 minutes, and I don't get messages from either of you to say, going to wrap it up. Now, I'm very conscious that Franny has continued to be held hostage in McGinty's kitchen. I've not even had messages from McGinty to say wrap it up because he wants to wrap up Franny. However, that's getting weird, isn't it?
That was weird. What's he going to wrap him up in?
A big cuddle.
Wow.
This is sounding good. This is sounding like a good night.
Remember me and you shared a bed, Fanny? It was quite an experience.
It was.
Was it head to toe?
No. No. Very much face to face.
Maintaining eye contact.
Oh, aye. It's very tense.
It was nice.
Right, okay. For Lindsay Greenwood, Jesus, my God. Right.
Gavin, you're just imagining what happened there, aren't you? Come on.
I don't know why
if I told the real truth, we'd be cut off air. That's put like that.
So I like
that. Fucking slept.
But when he's on form, he's feel good. But when he's not playing well in a game, he's right. I thought until the Hearts game, he's not as good.
I can agree.
I know. Either. I wondered if we would like him more if he did score that penalty against Hearts, but he didn't, and that's it. Right. Look, we're probably going to draw it to a close because we're over 2 hours. And Fanny, you look as if you're getting tired.
Yes. It's training for
what the fuck, matey? Come on.
Wow. What are you doing? What is going on here?
He is. He's panicked, the big fella. He doesn't want the truth to come out.
Right, I need to stop this. Okay, parliamentary decorum. Okay, we will stop that. Okay, right. Okay, guys, look, it's been a buzz. It's Friday night, and we've been on for over 2 hours. And I've really enjoyed it. As I said, I've been out, fucking doing a flitting, and I felt like I was involved. One thing I had a major disagreement with you guys in the chat. Maybe not Stephen. I don't know about Franny, but it was about Christopher Julian, and I said that for the outlay that we made for him, it didn't turn out well. But I had a lot of disagreements in the comments. But we're not going to go into that because that could take another 10 minutes. We're going to wrap it up right now. I just wanted to kind of say I felt hard done by that. Not many people supported me in that one. Yeah. Anyway, to everybody in the comments, thank you so much. Stephen's jealous of McGinty. Is that true?
Definitely not. But yeah.
The show has been endless. Fair play to Mad Gav. He's finally settled into the pod. Thank you. Oh, really? Maybe I was. Bag of nerves. Right, okay, we'll probably wrap it up. We're not going to throw up that comment. We're going to wrap it up now.
Wow.
What the fuck? Phil, you need to wrap up. I'm down for a fucking pitch. I'm down here like.
Right, we'll wrap it up. Okay. Predictions for tomorrow, St Johnstone. Score, Stephen, please.
4-2 Celtic.
Okay. And who do you love?
Franny.
Franny. Who do you love?
Oh, just to make him so he goes to bed happy. I'll say Stephen, but I'm a good liar, Stephen.
Listen, it needs to be purity from the soul. That's what it needs to be. Come on.
I'm sure both of you guys have lost your purity. And Franny, what's your prediction for tomorrow?
3-0. I'll go 3-0.
Excellent. Okay. Right, guys, we're going to wrap it up because things are getting naughty right now and the tension is rising. It's getting steamy in here. So, love yous and leave yous. I'll click end stream. I like to make it an awkward exit, Stephen, while I click the top right end stream, yes.
We'll stare at each other.
Or do you want to do your Jerry Springer ending like I've learned something today?
I've learned something that one thing I've learned from this podcast is that Franny and me argue like a married couple. But I like it. It's good fun.
I like it too.
Do you like it, Gav? What way do you like it?
It's like a voyeur, you know. Anyway, ending the stream. Guys, have a good weekend. Hail, eat your popcorn. Stephen will be eating...
Shut